So we are at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with my man JCD.
Let's go.
So you're joining Samantha Tan Racing.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about how this came about?
Yeah. Well, I was, I believe, coming off of Road America. I got a call from John Miller, and he said, "Hey, we're looking for a third, and maybe you'd be a good fit for us." And after a short conversation, we got me out to the track and did a couple test laps out there at Road America, and we were able to get me in the car for the 8.
That's awesome. I think hopefully everyone's seen that Instagram reel that Sam put together. The phone call was also pretty awesome. But you're no stranger to BMW. Now, I guess the one downside, I think, last year's Auto Technique with Zach. So Zach won the championship, but you didn't because of a crash at Road America in the Lamborghini, I think it was. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I was coming off three out of 4 wins at the Super Trofeo Championship, leading the points pretty comfortably, and had won a significant amount of GT4 races. I think I actually still, even with that injury, took more wins home that year because I had done VP and a couple other races over Zach. Unfortunately, I did have to sit out due to being in an incident and fractured T12, L1, L2. Took me out of both championships. I was able to come back, help Zach across the line, but yeah, wasn't officially crowned the champ, so had to run it back, make sure we do it right this time.
Hopefully it'll work out. I think early in your career was Bimmer World, I think you raced for. Is that right? Like ST?
Yeah, so my very first co-driver was Greg LaFouche. I came out of Skip Barber, I did the MX-5 series, and then I met a kid that was going testing with Beamer World. I didn't even know what testing was. I'd still been driving cars with keys and stuff like that. And so I get out to Beamer World. I remember James looking at me like, who is that guy? And somebody that brought me along thankfully talked him into letting me do the test, and that's how I met Greg LaFouche. And through that, we started doing ST within a couple months and quickly progressed into the Grand Am series. I ran with Beamer World for, I think, 4 seasons. Had a lot of fun, made a lot of great friends there. And like so many great racers, just wasn't ahead of the business side enough to keep it going.
For sure, it's tough.
Found myself at a used car lot and working Uber, Lyft, Skip Barber, and Pecla all at the same time, trying to get back to the paddock. And very fortunately, a gentleman named Tom Capizzi found me and was able to bring me back as his teammate in GT4, and that's how I met Auto Technic and kind of progressed to here.
Yeah, it's awesome. So obviously also running today, not today, but this weekend in GT4 with a different brand.
Yeah.
Porsche, so you do Lamborghini, Porsche, and BMW. And I think you do a pretty good job in all 3 of them, hopefully.
I appreciate that.
But it's tough jumping between different cars. How do you handle that?
Last year I did the BMW and the Trofeo, and oddly enough, even though the engines are in different places, those cars had a very similar drive style to them. So I was able to kind of hop between those 2 without seeing a lot of impact from one car to the other. Love you. This season, what's up, guys?
Fans are already here.
This season's been a little different. Like you said, I've been driving a Porsche, a BMW GT4 car on my off season, the GT3 car now, the Trofeo car. And so I've been through and a 992 chassis Cup car, right?
There we go.
All of them are extremely different, and the timelines between each chassis has been a lot tighter. Drivability in all of them is pretty easy, so to speak, but to find peak in all of them really takes, recalibrating yourself to that car and situating yourself for success. And it's been a harder one this year with all of those chassis, but I do believe it is making me stronger, even though it's harder.
I think I agree. So jumping from a GT4 car into a GT3 car, what's been the biggest challenge for you?
Whoa. I'd say going from the GT4 to the GT3 is probably easier for me. When I come back from the GT3 to the GT4, obviously the car is not quite as capable, so you find yourself overdriving quite a bit. The hardest thing for me for sure has been with the Cayman and this GT3. The brake pressure is actually so much lighter in the Cayman that I feel like I'm just tickling the pedal all the time. And
it's a lot of work now, isn't it?
Right, and when you're coming 165 miles an hour at a brake marker, the last thing you want to do is be light on a pedal, right?
Oh, no.
So it takes kind of braking early, recalibrating that foot to figure out that decel rate again, and then moving it back towards your later brake point so that you don't just blow the corner. I'd say that's been the biggest hindrance, and then just overall lack of grip in a GT4 car compared to something with true aero and suspension and just way more capability traction wise.
Yeah, I know you've been dreaming about GT3. Now you've got this opportunity.
Yeah.
What's the plan for next year? What do you hope happens coming out of this?
I would love to just fit in as an endurance driver. If I could get a GTD full season ride, that would be amazing. It's definitely a big ask, and we're working hard to get me situated for that. But my dream's always been to win a Rolex at Daytona, maybe make it to Le Mans if everything worked out, and hit some of those bucket list races like the 24 at Spa and stuff like that. I know I'm a little bit older, so that factory rides kind of passed me by, and I think now I'm just trying to get myself situated in GT3 where I can really benefit teams and continue my way up the ladder until I find this is where I belong.
Yeah, continued good luck in all that, all your endeavors. We love watching you race. And obviously JCD is a great person to talk to. He's always got time for you. He's also friendly. So where can anyone else out there find you on social? How do we find you?
I've always been in racing for the people, so I'd love to meet y'all. And probably the easiest place, honestly, is Instagram at JCD Racing. It's pretty direct, and it's all open at all hours. So I check all my DMs. I try very hard to answer everyone and build a relationship with anyone that takes the time to reach out to me, because I very much appreciate it.
Yep, and this is why we're here. I reached out on Instagram, tagged you a few times. And now here we are at the Indy 8 Hour. He's racing. I'm just watching.
I think you've been at a majority of my races this year. It always brings a big smile to see someone that you enjoy to talk with, and yeah, it gives that extra mojo to a driver to have friends in the paddock. You want to do well for them, and yeah, you just want to share the experience with anyone that cares.
All right, we'll cut it there, but thanks so much for your time, JCD.
Awesome,
We're
thank
cheering
you.
for you in GT3.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone that listened.